Here are the top stories for today, August 29, 2019. President Duterte arrives in China, where he is expected to discuss issues regarding the South China Sea. The ship owner of the Chinese boat involved in the Recto Bank ramming incident in June apologizes to the government. The Philippine National Police welcomes the University of the Philippines' openness to have their security officers undergo training by police officers. And the Diocese of Cubao declares its cause for the beatification of Filipino servant of God, Darwin Ramos.
Good day. I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte is now in Beijing to discuss key issues confronting both countries with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
President Rodrigo Duterte on Wednesday night left for his fifth visit to Beijing upon the invitation of Chinese President Xi Jinping. According to a palace statement, Duterte will meet with Xi in Beijing to take stock of developments in bilateral relations and in the region. Malacanang said several key agreements are expected to be signed during Duterte's 5-day visit. After his engagement with Xi, Duterte will also meet Premier Li Keqiang to agree on ways to intensify Philippines-China economic ties, people-to-people and cultural exchanges, and ASEAN-China cooperation. Finally, Duterte will be received by Vice President Wang Qishan and the top political leaders of Guangdong Province. Wang will accompany Duterte in watching the first game of the Gilas Pilipinas men's team against Italy in the 2019 FIBA World Cup at the Foshan International Sports Cultural Center in Foshan City, Guangdong. Earlier, Duterte said he would raise the Hague-based Permanent Court of Arbitration ruling with Xi. From the PNA Newsroom, I'm Teresa Montemayor.
President Rodrigo Duterte on Tuesday night lambasted Iceland for legalizing abortion but expressed concern in ensuring the human rights of drug syndicates. Duterte said he hoped that Iceland, which recently sponsored a resolution at the United Nations Human Rights Council to look into the government's anti-illegal drug campaign, would freeze in time. He said that although he supported several family planning methods, including contraception, after seeing how poor Filipinos have suffered, he will not allow an abortion policy in the country.
Iceland allows the slaughter of the fetus inside the womb of the mother up to 6 months. Nila. They worry more of the drug lords at itong mga who are pushing drugs, killing our citizens, and creating a social dysfunction in almost all tinamaan. Tapos tinuturuan ako kung ano ang gawin ko. I am sorry for you. That's why you are condemned there in the eyes forever. I hope you will freeze in time.
President Duterte on Tuesday warned the public to brace for a little trouble in the coming months as he urged the military to end communist insurgency in the country. Duterte said the government could not afford to pass it on to the next generation of Filipinos, saying our country would never prosper if social ills such as communist insurgency, criminality, and corruption are not curbed permanently. He also hinted at imposing very radical changes in the government, but he did not elaborate what these were.
And I'm serving notice to everybody that in the coming months it will be not really bloody, but there will be at least a little trouble for our country. So I am telling the military, can we end it now? We cannot afford to pass it on to the next generation. Baka hindi na nila makaya. It has to be now.
The Philippine National Police has welcomed the University of the Philippines' openness to have their security officers undergo training by police officers in a bid to maintain peace and order in its campuses. PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde said no less than the chair of the Commission on Higher Education admitted that there is a problem in the university, especially the proliferation of illegal drugs. The police, he said, also obtained reports not only in UP Diliman but also in UP Los Baños, where incidents of robberies, petty crimes, and even rape are not reported to them. Albayalde was reacting to reports quoting UP Vice President for Public Affairs Elena Pernia as saying that the UP Police is open to the idea of undergoing training by the PNP.
The Education Department is all set to provide neutral desk for students, and a bill acknowledges the rights of the foundlings or children of unknown parents. More on this from Benjabondo.
The Department of Education welcomes the law requiring all educational institutions to have neutral desks suitable for both right and left-handed students. According to DepEd, it has been allocating 2 left-handed armchairs per set of 45 armchairs or 4% of total armchairs for learners in classrooms and intends to replace its existing armchairs within 5 years. In other news, a bill promoting the rights of deserted children with unknown parents or foundlings has been filed at the House of Representatives. Ang Provinciano Party List Representative Ronnie Ong filed House Bill 3472, which addresses the citizenship status of foundlings. The bill proposes that all foundlings shall be recognized as natural-born citizens of the Philippines without need of perfection or any further act, and shall automatically be accorded such rights and protection as those belonging to such class of citizens. Meanwhile, the PNP Highway Patrol Group assured constant visibility of police officers along EDSA, especially during rush hours. HPG Director, Police Brigadier General Eliseo Cruz, said that at least 170 HPG personnel, 20 mobile cars, and 36 HPG motorcycles have already been assigned to position along EDSA to render assistance in easing traffic flow and running after undisciplined motorists. He said the return of HPG along EDSA is part of the mandate of the unit to be present in major thoroughfares, not only in Metro Manila but also in the provinces. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
Still to come, the ship owner of the Chinese boat involved in the Recto Bank ramming incident in June apologizes to the government. Rum labeled as sourced from Bacolod City is set to hit stores here and abroad. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Buting na idulot ng PITX. Siyempre, yung kaginhawaan.
Bukod sa hindi na nagkalat yung bus namin, komportable pa yung mga pasahero.
Dito talagang sure ka na makakauwi ka.
Dito po, nandito na po lahat ng kailangan natin puntahan, nandito na lahat ng sakayan.
Dati kasi sobrang hirap, sobrang init, tapos siksikan pa.
Dito okay naman dito sa PITX, maganda. Saka mabilis ang pasahero.
Ibang-iba po talaga dito sa PITX.
Una sa lahat, air condition dito.
What gate? Tawag ba doon? Gate? Parang airport eh. May gate pa eh, no?
Good. Ang ganda ng proyektong ito. Akala ko nga it will be just as simple or ordinary bus terminal.
Pag CR ka, naka-aircon. Ang waiting area, naka-aircon. May mga TV. Tapos may mga kainan. Sobrang alwan. First of all, di na po ako nahihirapan, di na ako tumatay sa kalsada para maghintay, di ako nauusukan. Kasi meron na tayong mga modernized ticket na doon tayo kumukuha para hintayin na lang yung boarding time natin.
So very convenient, and then at the same time, security. You are not also exposed to the elements of nature like ulan, init.
The ship owner of the Chinese vessel that figured in the ramming of a Filipino boat near Recto Bank in June 9 has apologized to the Filipino fishermen involved in the said incident. The Department of Foreign Affairs posted a memorandum bearing the translated portion of a letter from Chen Shi-Quin, the president of the Guangdong Fishery Mutual Insurance Association. The letter noted the results of the association's own investigation, which found out that the Chinese vessel involved was a member of their group. The ship owner, however, maintained that whatever happened was unintentional and an accident, although the Chinese fishing boat should take the major responsibility. Malacanang confirmed that it has accepted the apology issued by the owner of the Chinese vessel. In a statement, presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said they also welcome the owner's humility to take responsibility and acknowledgement that compensation must be provided. In his 5th trip to China, President Duterte is expected to discuss the Recto Bank incident among other areas of concern with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo on Wednesday said he would not resign amid allegations that he had a hand in the possible release of convicted rapist-murderer former Calauan Mayor Antonio Sanchez. Panelo made this remark after retired Judge Harriet Demetrio, the judge who convicted Sanchez, called for Panelo's resignation. Panelo, who is also Duterte's chief presidential legal counsel, insisted that he had no hand in the possible liberty of any of the inmates who may be freed under the Good Conduct Time Allowance or Republic Act number 10592. He explained that he mentioned before President Duterte that the former mayor was ineligible for benefits under the GCTA. He also dismissed Demetrio's call for him to resign, noting that her opinion against him was made based on pure speculation that has no place in a profession that values the rule of law. Panelo reiterated that they will implement the GCTA properly to the exclusion of recidivists, habitual delinquents, escapees, and persons charged with heinous crimes. Tanduay Distillers Incorporated, the diversified beverage company of Taipan Lucio Tan, will release Bacolod-labeled rum for markets abroad, including the United States. This was announced in the just concluded Rum Festival, which will be held from here on out every 3rd week of August in Bacolod. TDI will release an initial of 50 cases of Tanduay rum with the name of Bacolod in the label. It will be processed and bottled in one of the company's distilleries located at the boundary of Bacolod City and Murcia Town in Negros Occidental. In a statement, Tanduay said that through the Rum Festival, they paid tribute to the men and women who have made the sugarcane industry of Negros Occidental what it is today. Meanwhile, the Philippine Coconut Authority on Tuesday launched a strategy program crafting a comprehensive industry roadmap in the country. PCA will provide production technologies for coconut farmers, research and development activities, and efforts to increase the rate of planting in potential coconut hubs. The PCA also hailed the United Coconut Associations of the Philippines for organizing this year's World Coconut Congress. The Congress, which ran August 27 to 29, boasts of an exhibit participated in by over 100 suppliers and a 3-day conference that gathers 400 delegates from all over the region. The Provincial Development Council and the Provincial Peace and Order Council have given their unanimous support to the government's anti-insurgency campaign in Negros Occidental. Both bodies passed a joint resolution for the creation of the Provincial Task Force on Ending Local Communist Armed Conflict on Tuesday afternoon. Brigadier General Benedict Arevalo, commander of the Philippine Army's 303rd Infantry Brigade, welcomed the approval of the resolution, which he presented during the meeting. He noted that the government is tasked to deliver services that will prevent people from being enticed to join or support the Communist Party or the Philippines' New People's Army. He said this is an opportunity for the task force to closely work together in addressing the root causes of insurgency in Negros. The creation of the task force follows President Duterte's Executive Order 70, which institutionalizes the whole-of-nation approach to end local communist armed conflict. Meanwhile, at least 69 indigenous peoples' youth leaders joined a leadership summit in Malaybalay City, Bukidnon on August 24 and 25. The youth leaders participated in lectures and activities designed to boost their confidence, develop critical thinking, improve social skills, and strengthen their patriotism for the country. The military said the summit also served as a venue to educate the youth of deceptions of various communist rebel fronts to force them to join and use them for their own interest. The summit is also facilitated by the Propelling Our Inherited Nation Through Youth, a non-government organization advocating for peace. Over 200 former members of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front completed their military training as they prepared to serve as peacekeepers. They will join the military and police in maintaining peace, particularly in MILF communities. More on this from Teresa Montemayor.
219 former combatants of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front completed their 26-day basic military training Tuesday to serve as peacekeepers at Camp Lucero North, Cotabato. During the graduation ceremony, the former MILF combatants reunited with their families after their almost month-long training. The graduates were provided with financial and food assistance. BARMM Minister of Finance, Budget and Management Edward Guerra described the graduation ceremony as a historic event for the Bangsamoro peace process. The training is a requirement for former combatants to become part of the Composite Joint Peace and Security Team, or JPST. The main task of the JPST is to maintain peace and security in the MILF communities that will undergo the normalization process. The former rebels will also form part of the team composed of government forces that will operate against the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters. On September 7, President Rodrigo Duterte is expected to lead the public launching of the decommissioning process of the MILF combatants and their weapons. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Teresa Montemayor.
Up next, the Diocese of Cubao declares its cause for the beatification of Filipino servant of God, Darwin Ramos. Grab PH announces scooter rentals for tourists in Intramuros. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Ayos yung waiting area at malalamigan ng mga pasero.
I could say na extraordinary po yung terminal natin.
Marami po nagsasabing parang airport, pero ang sinasabi po namin, landport po ito.
They're all very good and respected. Yung nagre-respeto sa tao.
Maayos po silang makisama po.
Hindi na po tayo katulad nasa labas po tayo, na nagipagsiksikan sa labas kumpara po rito.
Masasabi ko po na friendly po talaga ang PTEX.
Mga empleyado, nasa labas pa lang ako ng PTEX at ihahatid na ako dun sa ticket booth, ganun. Sobrang nakaka-touch na ganun, na friendly talaga.
Napakasaya ko po dahil hindi ko po na-experience ito sa buong buhay ko.
Parang ang laki ng pagbabago ng Pilipinas dahil sa mga terminal ng ganito.
Bilang mamamayan po ng ating bansa, parang ang sarap po sa feeling na nagkaroon tayo ng kauna-unahang landport dito sa Pilipinas.
This is a very good job. And this project is a symbol of progress. Isa itong patunay na tayo ay umuunlad.
Sana marami pang maging ganito across the islands of the Philippines para nang sa ganon, the people can also see yung mga improvements na nangyayari.
Maraming salamat po sa ating gobyerno na nakaisip po nito.
Maraming salamat po sa PITX sa magandang opportunity na binigay.
Kahit sana yung mga kaapu-apuhan po makaabot dito. This is a job well done.
Thank you so much, PITX.
The Diocese of Cubao on Wednesday started the journey to sainthood of Darwin Ramos, who was declared by the Vatican as Servant of God. Hundreds of people, including the family of Ramos and some of the children of Tulay ng Kabataan, attended the solemn opening and declaration of the cause of Ramos at the Immaculate Conception of Cubao in Quezon City. Reverend Father Tomas de Gabori, postulator of the cause from the Darwin Ramos Association in France, presented the petition for Darwin's first step towards sainthood. Father de Gabori said he was impressed by Darwin's proximity by Jesus and his spiritual life. Ramos, a former scavenger who became involved in helping street children, died on September 23, 2012 when he was only 17. He succumbed to complications of Duchenne muscular dystrophy, which weakened his muscles. Cubao Bishop Honesto Ongpioco said that if Ramos would be canonized, he would be the youngest Filipino saint. The Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, has held a dialogue to address the various pressing issues in Bicol region at the Ibalong Centrum for Recreation in Legazpi City on Tuesday. DILG Regional Director Anthony Nuida said the activity dubbed as Dagyao sa Bicol 2019 was mainly a consultation between the people and the national government. Among the issues discussed to be acted upon were the government's anti-corruption efforts, the production and promotion of local and indigenous products, and establishment of local drug rehabilitation centers across the region. Presidential Communications Operation Office Assistant Secretary Ramon Qualoping said the Dagyao activity was designed as a communication medium to bridge the gap between the people and government. Some 700 participants from local government units, non-government organizations, private institutions, and national government agencies attended the dialogue. The next Dagyao dialogue will be held in Iloilo City on September 3rd. Lulugayan Falls in Calbiga, Samar is reopened to the public on Tuesday after undergoing improvements. The so-called mini Niagara Falls of Samar was closed to the public for several months to give way to the construction of ecotourism facilities, while local service providers from Literon Village underwent capability training. The project is in partnership with Samar Provincial Government, Department of Tourism, and Bantay Kalikasan, founded by the late Gina Lopez. Residents living near Lulugayan Falls are confident that the improvements done on their tourism asset will unlock economic opportunities in their community. Meanwhile, the DOT and Grab Philippines are set to launch this September the Grab Wheels, a scooter hailing service inside Intramuros in Manila. 30 units of scooters will be deployed free of charge for 3 months for tourists to use to go around and experience the historic destination. DOT Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat said this partnership is in keeping with the DOT's effort to inculcate a culture of sustainable tourism in the Philippines. Residents of Marawi City are getting livelihood opportunities through the Kawiyagan program. As the program reaches its first anniversary, Task Force Bangon Marawi assures Kawiyagan will reach and uplift more residents. More on this from Sweet Lukman.
Provisions of projects and services through Kawiyagan program by the Task Force Bangon Marawi's Subcommittee on Business and Livelihood for the internally displaced persons in this war-torn city has turned 1 year. Speaking during Kawiyagan's first anniversary, Mayor Mahulgan Damra expressed his gratitude to the different government and private organizations that provided livelihood support to the IDPs after the 5-month siege staged by the IS-linked terror group. Department of Trade and Industry 10 Regional Director Linda Bonyao also explained that the Kawiyagan had been organized to facilitate the provision of livelihood assistance from the national government agencies, local government units, and the Mindanao Humanitarian Team comprising the World Food Program, Community and Family Services International, United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, and others. The Subcommittee on Business and Livelihood, which is led by DTI, has been distributing livelihood starter kits to the IDPs to help them start a small business to sustain their needs. They received sari-sari store, karinderya, baking, sewing starter kits, among others. Agri-based livelihood assistance has also been extended by the CFSI and food and agriculture organizations to the IDPs to complement the farm inputs given by the Department of Agriculture. Other government agencies which also extend livelihood support to the IDPs are the Department of Labor and Employment, Department of Agrarian Reform, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Department of Science and Technology, Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process, and the local government units of Marawi City and Lanao del Sur. To fully benefit from the livelihood assistance extended by both government and private organizations, TFBM Field Office Manager Assistant Secretary Felix Castro Jr. urged the IDPs to wisely use them to improve their living. The TFBM, through the Subcommittee on Business and Livelihood, will continue to distribute livelihood assistance to cover all target IDPs. For PNA Newsroom, Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
Let's take another look at today's biggest stories.
President Duterte arrives in China, where he is expected to discuss issues regarding the South China Sea. The ship owner of the Chinese boat involved in the Recto Bank ramming incident in June apologizes to the government. The Philippine National Police welcomes the University of the Philippines' openness to have their security officers undergo training by police officers. And the Diocese of Cubao declares its cause for the beatification of Filipino servant of God, Darwin Ramos.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.